Hi everyone, I'm the Michael Myers fanatic. I'm here today to review Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies. It premiered March 12th, 1999 on cable. It wasn't released in theaters like the first one. And it stars Andrew Divoff as Nathaniel Demarest, A.K.A. the Wishmaster or the Djinn. He's the only cast member to return from the original. No one else came back. This movie is pretty much like the original. It's basically the same formula. The Wishmaster is trapped in an opal, and somebody unknowingly sets him free. This time, the waker is a girl named Morgana, and she's played by Holly Fields. And Morgana is basically a robber. She's a thief. The movie opens up with her and her boyfriend breaking into this museum and stealing paintings and other things like that. And they also get involved in a shootout. During the shootout, they accidentally damage the statue Ahura Mazda from the original film, and then the opal falls onto the floor. Once it falls on the floor, it lights up, but nobody comes out. I'm guessing that the Wishmaster probably didn't want to come out because there were too many witnesses, and I guess he figured it would blow his cover. Everyone's engaging in this shootout, and her boyfriend Eric ends up getting killed. Eric is played by Chris Webber. Before he died, the Wishmaster comes out of the opal and he tells him, he's like, Eric, I can give you anything you wish for. I can give you life everlasting if you wish it. I can ease your suffering if you wish that. And at first Eric tells him to go away, but then he decides to make a wish. He's like, I wish I'd never been born. And then the Wishmaster's like, as you wish. And he literally turns back into a baby. And then he turns into nothing. And then Morgana goes home. And she doesn't even know that Eric's dead. But she starts having nightmares about the Wishmaster. And she figures that it's just the guilt bothering her because she robbed the art gallery. She doesn't think that he's actually real. She thinks it's just guilt. But in the dream, he keeps telling her to fulfill the prophecy, and she doesn't know what that means. But he ends up confessing to the murders so he can go to prison. And you're probably thinking, especially the ones that never saw this movie, you're probably thinking, why would he want to go to prison? Well, he wanted to go because there were a lot of souls in there, and he feeds on wishes. But remember, his wishes are cursed, and they never turn out the way you want. But anyway, while he's in prison, people were making all kinds of wishes. Like, this one guy said that he wished that his lawyer could go F himself. I can't really say the whole thing because there are people around, but he said he wished his lawyer could go F himself. And the Wishmaster's like, done, I'll take care of that. And then he talks to his lawyer, and the lawyer starts having sex with himself. And the guy's yelling, what about my case? What about my case? And I guess he just dies. One guy wished that he could be wasted, and then the Wishmaster's like, what do you mean wasted? And he's like, you know, wasted, effed up, tore up from the floor up, stomped into the ground, wasted. And then his two friends just beat the crap out of him. They literally beat him to death. One guy wished that the Wishmaster would make him walk out of here. He said, I wish I could just walk out of here. And the Wishmaster says, done. He says, I want to go right through the bars. I want to walk right through the bars. And the Wishmaster, he says done, and he makes the guy walk through the bars. And this same thing goes on throughout the movie. And then the Wishmaster befriends this guy named Osip Kretschkoff, and he's played by Oleg Vidoff. I can't really pronounce his name, but he's Russian. You also have this guy named Gregory, and he's a priest. He used to go out with Morgana back in the day, and his name is Father Gregory, and he's played by Paul Johansson. And when Morgana tries to go to him and tell him that she thinks she's being chased by the devil, he basically says, "You're crazy." That's what he was trying to tell her in so many words. Because she says, "Do you believe in the devil?" And he says, "I believe in God." So as the movie goes on, the Wishmaster is haunting Morgana in her dreams. As I said, he's in prison granting wishes, and he keeps saying, "Fulfill the prophecy." So then Gregory decides to go to the prison and do something about it. So when he goes there, he tells the Wishmaster, "Leave her alone." And the Wishmaster is basically taunting him, like, "Who's gonna stop me?" And then the priest says, "God will stop you." And then the Wishmaster says, "God has nothing to do with this." And then the priest says, "God has everything to do with this. Now be gone, Satan." And then the Wishmaster's like, "I think you have your demons mixed up, Father." Now, I don't really like to overthink things or overanalyze them, but here's my problem with the movie. He's really arrogant as hell, as if he created himself, and he didn't. And some would say you're overanalyzing everything. And it's not that I'm doing that, it's just that he only can do those things because God allows it. So why is he acting like he can do it on his own? And then he sits there and calls himself eternal. He's not eternal, because if he were eternal, but it would mean that he always existed, and he didn't always exist. Let me define what eternal actually means. Eternal means existing through all time, lasting for all time without beginning or end. So if he's eternal, then that would mean that he wasn't created. And if you go back to the first film, you'll hear the narrator say, "Once in a time before time, God breathed life into the universe, and the light gave birth to angels, and the earth gave birth to man, and the fire gave birth to the Djinn, creatures condemned to dwell in the void between the worlds. One who wakes a Djinn shall be given 3 wishes. Upon the granting of the third, the unholy legions of the Djinn shall be freed upon the earth. Fear one thing, fear the Djinn." So did you hear what it said? It said the fire gave birth to the Djinn. So if you give birth to somebody, what does that mean? It means they were born. They weren't always here. If he were eternal, then it means that he wasn't created. He was already in existence. If you're gonna use a word, use it the right way or don't use it at all. He's not eternal because he didn't make anything. He was given that power by God. So if you're gonna say something, know what it is that you're saying. He gets really frustrated in prison because he's not getting enough souls. And he basically tells the guard, Tilliver, played by Tiny Lister Jr., he tells the guard, "Yeah, okay, whatever, I'll do whatever you say, but I don't care about being trapped in a hole. I've been in a hole for 3,000 years. This should be a breeze." Tilliver, the prison guard, basically tells him, "I wish I could slow dance with you for one moment, Compton style. I don't even want to know what that means." The Wishmaster says, "Done," and then he says, "Shall we dance?" And he appears in his true form. Next thing you know, the guard is dead. Later on, he comes to Osip and he says, Osip, how badly do you want to leave this prison? And at first Osip says, American prisons are the best in the world. I don't want to leave this prison. But then, when he finds out that Tilliver is actually the Wishmaster, he says he wants to leave, and then the Wishmaster says, Open sesame, and they walk out the front gate. And then Osip takes the Wishmaster to this club, and then there's this guy named Pushkin. But Pushkin is basically this boss. He's like a mafia boss, and Osip is afraid of him. But then there's a guy that Pushkin's afraid of, and his name is Mustafa. And Osip tells Pushkin, he's like, hey, this guy is the devil. He can do anything you ask him to do. So at first, Pushkin argues with the Wishmaster, telling him that he doesn't really need him for anything. And then when the Wishmaster finally convinces him of it, he says, I want Mustafa's head. So then he turns into Mustafa, and they kill him. So really he got suckered. The next thing you know, the Wishmaster makes his way to the casino, and some guy named Ross says that the casino wishes everyone the best of luck. And Ross is played by Bokeem Woodine. Ross is talking to him, and by Ross saying that the casino wishes everyone the best of luck, what he actually did is he gave up everybody's soul, because he said the casino. So that means everyone in the casino. After that, everyone drops dead, because he said it wishes everyone the best of luck. And sure, they start winning, but everyone drops dead, and objects start killing everyone. Playing cards are flying everywhere, cutting people all over the face. Poker chips are killing people. Ross is like, well, what's next? Frogs and locusts? But see, the thing is, he said that he wished this nightmare could come to an end. And by saying that, it did come to an end, because everybody in the casino died. The Wishmaster took all their souls, and the priest said, I wish you into hell. So by doing that, the Wishmaster actually took him to hell. And he tortures the priest, and he puts him up on a cross, and he's basically mocking him. So then Morgana says, I wish you would set him free. And the Wishmaster says, done. She says, I wish you would release him. And the Wishmaster says, done. And he kills him. So you get it? He released him. And then she says that she won't make any more wishes because the Wishmaster killed her boyfriend. So the Wishmaster takes her back to the casino, and he tells her if she makes 3 wishes, then the Djinn can inherit the earth. She tells the Wishmaster, I wish the man that I shot was alive again. And then she gets this vision of this guy coming back to life. Now here's the thing. The Wishmaster would always say, I claim that which is old, before he takes his souls. I don't really understand what that line means. I claim that which is old. What does that even mean? Morgana realizes that she was chosen to defeat the Wishmaster. She takes the stone out of his hand, and she recites the same words that were used in the first film, the incantation that the sorcerer used in the first film. And she says, Nib Shagraf Bahim, Nib Shagraf Bahim, and all the souls that the Wishmaster took are free. And he goes back to hell for a second time. But no need to fret, because he's just gonna get out again in Wishmaster 3, Beyond the Gates of Hell. And I will get to that when the time comes. But for now, the Wishmaster is back in hell for the second time. Everyone is alive again, and once again, all is right with the world. This has been Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies, from March 12th of 1999. I actually saw this when it came out. I saw it on cable. I'm the Michael Myers fanatic. I approve this message. Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies.